Hey guys, today we're doing the Sage Kabuto event, and later in the video I'm going to be talking about his abilities, his fetters, and gameplay of him, and then there's going to be me having my final thoughts on it, plus there's timestamps in the description. So feel free to go there, watch whatever part you want on this. I'll be doing like lineups, the elemental bonuses, I'll be talking everything about Sage Kabuto that you pretty much need to know. While I do the event, I have a little bit more information on the event order, and it's basically when the Itachi event ended, the Sage Kabuto event came back on server 46. However, on server 54, when the Sage Kabuto event ended, the Itachi event started. So I'm assuming the devs are kind of overwhelmed when all the servers were merging, so they kind of just decided to throw this out there is what I'm assuming, is a lot of servers who were way before me, like servers that say 30 to 20, don't have this event. Like, no one has this event besides like us. So I'm just assuming that they kind of messed up or something and put this event on when they weren't supposed to. But I mean, I have a feeling that within like, say a week or maybe two, they will get this stuff like having a set, solid, or a rotation where they come on at the right time. But right now it's just a little messed up. That's pretty much all we really know of this, like the event order though, because it's just, we have no idea. They're kind of just throwing events off. Like I just got a Jugo event for spending money, and then I got the Genjutsu guy event for the limited time summon where you need to summon 200 people and you get him. So the events are just absolutely way out of whack. We have really no idea what's going on. Now we're going to talk about his fetters and how good he is in general. So his fetters are Orochimaru, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and then Itachi with Susanoo Sasuke. Now Orochimaru gives you 8% damage, which is pretty useful in general, but he is a little hard to obtain. But I mean, if you get him, you get 8% damage. That's really good. Then there's Tsunade. Tsunade gives you 6.4% crit damage reduction. Now this pretty much just makes him a little bit more tanky, and since he's melee range and goes into the fights, this could be pretty useful for him. And you pretty much want Tsunade on your lineup no matter what, because she's one of the most useful supports there are. So you're going to be wanting to get her anyway. So this just gives you motive to want to get her. And then there's Jiraiya. Jiraiya gives you 1% dodge chance and 1.5% crit resistance. Now this one is like extremely good. Dodge is probably the most useful stat you can get, but it's just Jiraiya is insanely hard to get. You need to spend like $800 on this game to get Jiraiya. So for a free-to-play player, you won't ever get this guy, so it's kind of sad, but we do have hope because we're able to, there was an Itachi event, so maybe they might have a Jiraiya event sometime soon, because Itachi was only paywall, but now you're able to get him in a spin event. So there's a possibility that later on in the game there might be a Jiraiya event. So if there is, then this fetters would become really, really good. But as of right now, that fetter is pretty much useless. But then we have the last one, Itachi with Susanoo Sasuke. This gives you 7.2% HP and 2.2% hit. So this is pretty good in general because you always want to have HP, but it's actually almost impossible to get this. You don't get Susanoo Sasuke till very, very late game in the boss dungeon. So this fetter is just pretty much useless until you're level like 120. But I mean, overall, all his fetters, where I would say more than average, they're good as long as you're a player that knows what they're doing and you do the events. As long as you save up your gold and you do the events that you care about, like you have Tsunade, then that one is pretty good for you anyway. But his fetters are just really hard to get. So in the end, I would say his fetters aren't the best, but he does give you fetters with Mu and Itachi. So if you have Itachi, you can get your fetters because he has it with Sage Kabuto, and same with Mu. So those do get you pretty good stats. So I would say if you use Itachi at all, try to get Sage Kabuto just because it gives you good stats. And then this section is going to be for the lineup ideas and the elemental bonus. So Since he's Earth, you're going to want to have at least one other Earth with you. I would say that you're pretty much going to want to have Moo because he's one of the best Earths that you can get right now besides Sage Kabuto. But like I said in my last video, Earth is actually really viable now since we can get Sage Kabuto and we can get Moo now. They kind of just decided to bring Earth back. But you can go with Earth Wind or Earth Fire. But if you have any Yin or Yang at all, you're definitely going to want to go with Earth Yin Yang. So what I would say the most essential team, like the best team you can get with Sage Kabuto, would be Itachi, Moo, Sage Kabuto, Sarutobi, and Tsunade. That lineup alone could get you so far into the game because you have a really good support, you have 2 attack, you have a really good tank, and you have a really good control. So if you have any of these people and you want to like make a lineup, I would say that lineup is pretty like god tier, to be honest. There's not much teams you'll get that's better besides maybe like Tsunade, Sarutobi, Itachi, Jiraiya, and then like KCM, something like that. I don't know. Oh yeah, but for hero, you can also throw in, instead of like say Itachi, you can throw in like KCM Naruto, because that's pretty important. You want to have a yin or yang with that. If you're only going with an earth yin yang, you're definitely going to need your hero to have yin or yang. You could also, instead of Tsunade, put in the strength of 100 Sakura, because if you have that, then you don't need Tsunade. And that, I believe, is yin release, I think. Oh, actually it's still water. Maybe she's not, she's still a really good like character. You could just mess up your elemental bonus a little bit, because she's still really solid. I know a person who has 6 Sage Naruto that actually uses her instead of 6 Sage Naruto. So that tells me she's really good. Now for the gameplay and the abilities. So if you look at the way he attacks, his basic attack is a chakra blade that he just kind of hits. And you can see he's obviously melee, which melee is a little rough because you mainly want like ranged attack, so your tank can absorb all the damage while you're doing a lot of like just ability damage. But sadly, he's melee, he's still really good. Then his main ability, he charges up and lunges at them, dealing 348% damage. It also has a chance of inflicting poison for 4 seconds, and it's only an 8-second cooldown, so overall that's a decent ability. Then his ultimate makes silk and weaves it into a net to stab his enemies, dealing 960% damage. This also has a chance of inflicting poison for 4 seconds, and is on a 30-second cooldown. Most cooldowns are usually for like 40 seconds, so this is a pretty small cooldown, and it deals 960% damage. So it's I would say out of a ranking for the ultimate, I would say it's probably either high B or low A, because his ultimate's pretty good. Maybe even mid A if he just, I don't know, I feel like it'd be low A. Now I'm going to talk about my final thoughts and my closing thoughts for Sage Kabuto. He is, I would say, a very, very good character. If you have Moon and you want to do Earth, Yin and Yang, 100% you should be thinking of that. Otherwise, if you don't have any other Earth, he's probably not that good, because that would really hurt your elemental bonus. But if you're going to go him, of course you want one more. Onoki's not that good, to be honest, so the only way you would want to go Sage Kabuto is if you also have Moon. His ultimate, like I said, is a very short cooldown and deals really good damage. So on a scaling for the whole character as himself, I would give him the same rating I would give his ultimate. I would say he's a low rank A on a tier list, but I mean, yeah, there's just so much good people out there like Jiraiya, Tsunade, or Sarutobi. Like, those are just so high up. I can't in good conscience put him at high A, because he's not near that kind of strength. He's more like a Orochimaru kind of strength. He's not the best, but he's pretty good. But yeah, that was the Sage Kabuto event and guide. If you guys enjoyed and want to watch more Ninja Awakening content, feel free to subscribe. It's free. It doesn't do much to you if you subscribe or not, to be honest. You're still probably gonna get recommended my videos anyway if you watched it all the way through. But yeah, that's it, and I hope you guys have a good day.